snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. This is the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Project. A little bit different than what you're probably used to, but we're here. It is here.
We are here.
Ben, how you doing, man? Happy birthday, belated birthday. What's going on, man? How'd you celebrate?
Yeah. Not actually. I have not even celebrated yet. Celebrating it this weekend. IU plays Michigan, and we'll get into that later in the podcast. I am doing great, but let's be honest. New background. What's that about? Tell us about the new background. How are you doing?
Dude, it's pretty sick, man. There's been a lot, and I mean a lot of running around I've been doing within the first, we're not even done with the first week of being here, but
Yep.
I never realized how much crap I had until I had to move it.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, I did not want to pack any of that stuff up. So, in complete honesty, when you said, and you said this off air, but you were like, it doesn't really look like you're all that packed up. I wasn't, in all honesty. I thought that I was. I was not even close to that. So I still had a lot of stuff I had to move. But we've done a lot. I mean, everything's pretty much set up. I gave you a tour of it on FaceTime. Yes. But, for those of you watching, asking for personal updates for our lives and stuff, it's been really nice. In the first few days, I've had to kind of spend a couple nights by myself. So I got a little lonely. And the only reason why is just because my girlfriend had to work, a little bit later than anticipated for a few of those days. And so that's not going to be an uncommon theme. So we might have made a little bit of an early decision today. But we also got a cat. So Ben is not the only person with a cat on this podcast anymore.
Not anymore. Whoa!
Not anymore. I joined the club. I'm gonna I could pull a picture. I'm a cat dad.
Yeah, we're here for it. We love being cat dads. And for those who, if it's not abundantly clear, and we'll make it short before we do in football, if it's not abundantly clear, when Ryan was not on the podcast, like the weeks coming up to last week, and I said it's because he has a lot of life stuff going on, but it was all good things. This is what I was in reference to. Obviously, I didn't want to go into specifics, but this is what I was referencing to for all those who were listening and was wondering the life events that Ryan, was missing the podcast for. It was for good reason. This is what I was talking about.
So this is Vila. This is, the cat we picked up today. She's making herself actually pretty comfortable pretty quick. As you can see here, this is pretty awesome. I'm so excited about this, man. And she's really, it took her just a little bit of help getting her, all set up on this. I had to kind of give her treats on every level so that she could warm up to get comfortable. And she did fall off of the 3rd level. She hasn't made it quite up to the top yet. I anticipate her to be up there at some point because this is a super soft area. And I think that she'll actually really like that. Something I was just telling Ben off air before we get started, I'll just say this. So I've got a Ring camera set up in our living room. And so I was kind of watching while I was kind of laying down a little bit, just relaxing before the podcast. And, I kind of saw her drift off, into one of the little corners of the living room. And so I was like, where is she? Where did this cat go? Now, looking at this cat, it is dark fur. So, I mean, it's very easy to lose this cat. But, with that ring vision, well, I literally, you could see it on the ring camera. I don't want to pull up the footage, but you can see it on the ring camera. I looked out there. I looked underneath the couch by the area that she was sitting, and absolutely nowhere to be found. Well, then you go here. She was laying right here.
You guys.
And I know this looks super bright, so it's like, why couldn't you see that? Well, this is what it actually looks like in the room when it's not there. So it's like, if you don't look and see the little ears, that's where it'll be. So yeah, but it's been awesome, man. I'm stoked. I mean, this is something that's been on my mind for a while now, and now that it's finally come to fruition, it's surreal. It really is.
That's awesome, man.
So, but Ben, we've got a lot to kind of go over. So I'm going to kind of cut my personal crap there. But one thing that I want to kind of mention is last week we spent a lot of time on weekly review. I would like to kind of go a little bit quicker with it this week, just because we have a lot of trade deadline stuff to cover as well. And then there's a lot of injury news as well. So, just kind of keeping that in mind.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go over week 9 of the NFL. So everything that happened last week. First off, I'm going to go ahead and spoil part of Pigskin Pick'em. Ben, you and I had a really, really strong week with our picks. Looking at this week, you started off perfect, with the exception of the
Drake man
Patriots game after the noon games. So going into the afternoon games, you were perfect, with the exception of the Patriots game. But Ben, I mean, you picked every game right, with the exception of the Patriots, the Bears, and the Colts game. And then, believe it or not, I was right behind you the whole time. I messed up.
Don't like that.
I messed up on 1, 2, 3, 4 games. So you went 12-3. I went 11-4. I got the Texans game wrong, the Dolphins game wrong, and the Patriots game wrong, as well as the Bears game. But that was it. Ben, we're killing it. Right now, overall, I am 87-49. You were 82-54. So you decrease my lead by 1 game. So I'm hoping to kind of increase that later on tonight. But diving into weekly review, this was a very, very strong week for us. Not a strong week for Bears. We'll get to that. But Texans and Jets pick up a much needed win this week. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty disappointed in the Texans. I understand that they're
god-awful offensive line.
Yeah. What is going on with this team?
It's just that offensive line, man. If they can get that offensive line figured out, they'll be fine. But when you don't have a good offensive line, the rest is going to follow. And you will consistently see that. Their teams don't win when you don't have a good offensive line. The Texans have a fun young defense and fun young pass catchers, given Nico's hurt, but his 4 weeks are up, so maybe he will be – what?
I think he's getting activated soon.
Yes, his 4 weeks – his 4 weeks are up, so he could be getting activated for this game. But then Stephon Diggs got hurt, and a lot of injuries and a bad offensive line. But I think they'll figure it out. Nothing to stress too much about it, I don't think.
Yeah. It just makes me mad that the Jets are winning, because I have to root against that team now. Panthers beat the Saints 23-22.
Tried telling you.
I mean, we both did. I mean, Panthers, were our prediction going into this week.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a surprise to us. However, this resulted in Dennis Allen getting fired. Special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi is supposed to take over there. So, according to our Saints fan, this is a must. This needed to happen. Now he's going through a tough time. Chris Olave, huge hit. Man. It's sad. What are you thinking about this whole situation?
Yeah, second of the year for him, 4th overall. And this wasn't just like your normal concussion where you kind of get your bell rung, you go out and you sit out for a game or two. They had to take him off on a stretcher via the cart. And that is never a good look. And I feel like this is that same exact scenario, given he didn't have that same fencing response that Tua did. But you're getting kind of in that Tua territory. And their intern head coach, again, their special team coordinator who stepped up now, said that he's stepping away from football, at least for a little bit, and trying to figure out what's best for him. I would be shocked if we see him back this year. Now you get into that discussion of will we see him again next year, the year following? I'm going to probably say yes, but I think it is for him as a person, I think it's smart for him to take himself out of being a football player and focusing on him as a person and, his life outside of football. So I think it's a good choice for him to step away.
Absolutely. Next up, the Commanders beat the Giants 27-22. Nothing really too new about that. Nope. I kind of expected the Commanders to win. Didn't expect the Giants to keep it that close. However, good game there. Bills Dolphins, what a game. Tyler Bass kicking, what was that, a 61-yard field goal? Killed it there. It was a fun game to watch. That was the game that I had watched leading up to the Bears game. And so this, that was fun. Did you get to watch that one?
I did watch that one. My eyes are obviously very, very much glued on the Commanders right now, because it's really going to come down between the Commanders and Eagles for this division, and we'll see it in the following week on Thursday. I'm sure we'll get into it in just a minute, but they got better on the trade deadline too. So it's they're going to be a fun team to follow and see where they end up.
For sure.
Once the season is all said and done, their regular season.
Chargers beat the Browns 27-10. Browns with a very bad showing this week. Especially after beating the Ravens, I thought that they were going to have a little bit stronger of a showing, keep it a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. This was just an absolute train wreck. I don't think there's too much else to say other than that. And then we'll dive into.
It's exactly what I was saying though. Right, I love Jameis, and he was really fun in that Ravens game, but Jameis is going to find a way to be himself. I think he threw, 3 interceptions in this game? Yeah, 3 interceptions in this game. You're never going to win if your quarterback is throwing – well, unless you're Patrick Mahomes. You're never going to win, if you're throwing 3 interceptions in a game and whatnot. It's what you thought, and the Browns are – again, it was fun, and maybe their season's going to get better from where they were at, but – at this point, no one's expecting anything from them.
Right. Titans beat the Patriots 20-17, as we noted. Just a sloppy game all the way around. Drake May, though, sending it to overtime was a lot of fun to watch. Yes. I have very high hopes for Drake May as a quarterback, as does plenty of other people.
Too, man.
Yeah, me too, and several others. But not too much to really touch on there, but it was a good game. It's just a little sloppy from those teams. I will say very excited for this upcoming week. Yes. Falcons beat the Cowboys 27-21, a little bit closer than what I had imagined for the final score. I will say that the game didn't feel that close though.
No.
So that's, one thing. Cowboys lost Dak. That was a huge thing.
And CD's down with bad shoulder too.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look for the Cowboys. And if you're Mike McCarthy,
Oh, he's gone.
The seat's getting a little warm.
He's
Bengals.
gone, yeah.
Bengals got a statement win, 41-24 against the Raiders. Absolutely huge. Joe Burrow was slinging to everybody not named Jamar Chase. Thanks a lot for screwing my parlay over, Joe. But anyways, yeah,
Much needed.
I'm sure a lot of Bengals fans had a lot of fun with that one. Same with the Ravens fans as well. 41-10 against the Broncos. Ugly. I think we both had the Ravens winning this one anyway, but
Yes.
by a long shot. But that spread was -9, maybe 9.5. That one was a good game for the Ravens. Cardinals beat the Bears 29-9. All right, so this is when we talk about it, right? It was a train wreck. This Bears team, the locker room is completely distraught. DJ Moore walked off the field with an injury. He kind of tweaked his ankle. He said it popped out, popped back in, and momentum kind of took him out of bounds anyway. So he kind of excused himself from the play. Not a good look in the time, like the spur of the moment. Caleb also showing some, accuracy issues. I just want to make this very clear. And then, I'll get your thoughts on it and then we'll move on. I'm not worried about Caleb right now. I'm not. I think there are things that will change in the offseason. I think Eberflus is going to be gone. Waldron, I believe, will be gone. And it's just a 1-year experiment, right? Just to see exactly what this coaching staff will do. It's not going to get easier. So, I think I'm done being optimistic with this team for this year. And it sucks. We just got halfway into the season, but this is where I'm at with this team. And people can point their fingers and blame me if they want to, because I bought a Caleb Williams jersey shirt on the bye week and he's never been the same since. So it's entirely my fault. There's no other issues. Do you have any other comments about that game or anything you want to
coming really quickly, coming from an outside perspective, I know as Bears fans, y'all had kind of this big hope for the season that you guys expected. And some people, not saying names, had them winning 13 games. You have this high expectation for all this stuff going into the season. But as an outside fan, this is exactly what I thought the year was going to be like. You're going to have a rookie quarterback who's going to go through his growing pains, and you're going to have a coach who should have been fired. And when you put it in perspective like that, a rookie quarterback with a bad coach, what realistically were your expectations for this season, right? And it's fun being optimistic and stuff, but I'm not shocked this is how the season's going. This is exactly what I said for them, and I think it's going to – next year, again, is the year where I think we're going to see that leap, and that's what I had always said. So
I cannot stress this enough. Tradition needs to be broken. The McCaskies need to get their egos checked. This change needs to happen now. A statement needs to happen now. If you want to stand a chance in these division games, which you probably won't, but if you want to stand a chance, you have to make a statement now, and that includes firing Matt Eberflus. Just cut it off right now. Why would you sit here and waste time? It
doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. It doesn't.
So, anyways, this endless rotation has to end at some point. Yep. It's just not going to happen now. Eagles beat the Jaguars 28-23. You were this was awesome. The Saquon play was cool. You were distraught at the end of this game, dude. And I will say this before I let you kind of go on your tangent here. After watching the Bears game and my team not stand a chance, and then Matt also watching his team lose against the Carolina Panthers of all teams, I'm sorry, buddy. You were winning, and it really made me upset to see you so distraught. Here's the Eagles. You're going to be in the playoffs. It's going to be okay. But anyways, I'm happy that you won this game. What are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, well, first off, Saquon's a man. Devontae Smith is a man with that one-handed catch, that backwards hurdle. That's the picture I was showing. If you guys live under a rock and you can see that, Saquon just pulled off one of the best athletic feats I have ever seen, literally ever. It was frustrating watching the game because they were up 22-0 halfway through like the third quarter. So the fact that this came down to a game like sealing interception was very, very concerning. And Sirianni, again, they won. Sirianni's still looking like a dumb butt, politely. He's still looking stupid. And that's the main issue, but you're going to take a win where you can get a win. Hopefully they better freaking win against the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and stuff. But again, the real big game happens 2 weeks from now. So, and when you put it in perspective, being a Bears fan and a Saints fan, there's not much I can complain about, right? So,
as a fantasy owner, what's going on with Devontae Smith? Why is he questionable?
He has a hamstring thing, which like kind of came out of nowhere. He played just fine. He played like the whole game. Again, like I don't think it's anything too much to worry about. AJ Brown was out at practice. I kind of wish he wasn't. I kind of wish they would just let him just hang out and rest. We don't really need him for this Cowboys game. But I think as a fantasy owner for Devontae, I think you're going to be just fine unless something happened in practice that no one knows about. Jalen also like didn't even practice at this game either, or didn't even practice today. So I think it was much more about just a rest. Yeah, and that's exactly what I think it is. I wouldn't worry too much about it unless you hear more.
Rams beat the Seahawks 26-20 in overtime. Thanks a lot, Puka. You threw a punch and sold my fantasy team. Was an absolute fun game. Matthew Stafford. That's all I got to say. Just Matthew Stafford. Lions beat the Packers 24-14. Kind of a snooze fest, not going to lie. And then Vikings beat the Colts 21-13. That's a fun one. And then last but not least, this is the one I'm speeding things up to talk about this one. Chiefs beat the Buccaneers 30-24. By God, dude.
It's just going to be
keeps getting worse. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, it's at this point, there's an agenda, and that's what they're trying to do. I hate to be that guy and say it, but it's bad.
He did play a good game. I mean, he threw for 291 yards, 77% completion rating, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But it's that same thing. He's going to win these close games, and it's going to come back to that same conversation about the regular season overtime and why both teams don't have a chance. And it's the same conversation you guys have heard 10,000 times at this point. And refs helping them out, like on that touchdown. Why are we not calling the false start on that offensive tackle? And it's that same conversation we're all used to at this point.
It's bad. The one thing that I got to add is if for some reason my life depends on a Patrick Mahomes, like I'm going up against Patrick Mahomes in a coin toss and my life depends on me winning, I'm dead.
You're done.
I'm dead. I'm done. That dude, I've never seen him lose a coin toss. Never. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and dive into weekly news here. Texans, and this is just injury updates. Texans O-lineman Kenyon Green is expected to miss the rest of the season due to a shoulder injury. Not a good look for the Texans O-line that's already showing.
He was playing dog trash anyways. It's not a big loss for him.
Titans veteran safety Quandre Diggs suffered a season-ending Linz-Frank injury. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, as we noted, will be placed on IR after his hamstring injury. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is expected to return this week.
He's at practice.
He was at practice, but the rumor is that he'll be good to go. So, to absolutely no one's surprise, because he shouldn't have had this job to begin with, Raiders offensive coordinator Luke Getsy has been fired.
Shocker. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. What a
Wow.
surprise.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
All right, guys, here's the fun stuff. Marshawn Lattimore got traded to the Commanders. Just a huge trade, a heartbreaker for Saints fans. My heart goes out to Matt, man. This sucks for him. I can really tell.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I also saw a TikTok edit of Marshawn Lattimore highlights, and I was like, oh God, like this is not good. And I'm not even a Saints fan.
It was one of those tricky situations for them that, first off, awesome for the Commanders. That was their biggest weakness. Emmanuel Forbes has not turned out to be anything, and shocker. Who would have thought? But so props to them, awesome for them. Shifting that focus back on the Saints, it goes back to like one of those things that it's really it sucks and it's sad because he was a big cornerstone for that team since I think 2017 or something like that. So he's a big part of that team for a very long time, and Saints fans are sad about it. But on the other hand, it's one of those moves that Saints fans are like, this sucks and it's sad, but we understand it had to happen. We're not a team that's going to compete. Get the draft capital out of him. They got in a third and a fourth for him, and now you're clearing up that cap space, and that's the big thing for them. They're in cap hell, and they're rebuilding. They need to open up that cap space, so it's one of those weird situations where it's sad and it sucks because you love this guy, but it was a move that everyone understood needed to happen. And I'm glad he's not a Chief, to be frank.
Oh my God, dude. I was so mad when I had heard that was even a rumor, because I'm like, I'm probably having the same mentality as everybody else in our fantasy league trading people to me. It's like, why are we helping these people out? But no, anyways, Jonathan Mingo to the Cowboys, traded from the Panthers, an absolute head scratcher, 4th round pick to the Panthers for Jonathan Mingo in a 7th. He got traded for less than DeAndre Hopkins, amongst other people, and
Deontay Johnson,
Deontay Johnson, which big whoop. But Jonathan Mingo in a 7th going to the Cowboys for a 4th round pick. Horrible. Awesome. Mike Williams to the Steelers. This is a move that we kind of anticipated. We didn't cover it very much on the show because it was just rumors, and typically we don't like to do that because there's a lot of rumors that could be reported. But Mike Williams goes to the Steelers. It's going to be fun to see him lined up on the other side of George Pickens. However, after seeing how Deontay Johnson did on the other side as George Pickens, we'll see exactly how this goes. I'm not really too, infatuated with the idea of Mike Williams making some noise there. But he'll definitely not be as much of a threat to the rest of the division compared to the Zadarius Smith trade.
Yeah.
He got traded to the Lions from the Browns. Oh gosh. I mean, listen, here's where I stand, right? As a Bears fan, well, we're probably going to lose 2 games a year, at least here. That Thanksgiving game just got a lot harder, so that sucks. As a football fan, good job, Detroit. Go and get that piece for your D-line as you wait for Hutchinson to get healthy for next year. Make the playoff push, man. I mean, buy into this roster. I'm begging you at this point. Lions fans, okay, maybe not all Lions fans, but the good Lions fans deserve this. I'm rooting for them. Preston Smith got traded to the Steelers from the Packers. Not that big of a move because he hasn't really done much this year. He came out today saying that he had a trade request and they fulfilled it. That Steelers defense, man, that's going to be a fun one to watch. Preston Smith, Patrick Queen, you got TJ Watt. I mean, just dogs on that defense, man. And they've already made a lot of noise this year. So, I mean, the fact that they were able to get him for, I think it was, a 7th round pick, I want to say. 2025 7th.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. So, and not only that, but I don't have to deal with them anymore. So that's good.
It's nice.
If you have any comments on any of these, just stop me. But we're already 30 minutes in. So
yes. Yes. Really quickly on the Zadarius Smith trade. It was a trade that needed to happen again with Hutchinson getting hurt and not playing the rest of the season. They had a whopping 1 sack in the 2 games since he had gotten hurt. And it honestly showed the impact that he had on that defensive line. It was a move that needed to happen. Awesome for them to be able to go up and kind of get a guy and help that team out to make that final push.
Yes. Khalil Herbert got traded from the Bears to the Bengals. I wish him the best, honestly. We weren't going to use him in his contract years coming up. So got something for him, 7th round pick. I think that was another one of those trades where they did right by the player to go and get him somewhere to where he can get some playing time. So wish him all the best. Tre'Davious White went to the Ravens from the Rams. Ravens kind of strengthening their defense. They definitely need it. I mean, their defense has not played up to expectations this year. And so, it's not a huge move. They traded away 2026 7th round pick for Trey White and a 2027 7th, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
This one, however, I'm absolutely thrilled with for the Cardinals. Baron Browning got traded from the Broncos to the Cardinals. Their defense needed some pass rush help, and they traded a 6th round pick for him, so not very much. And he's a very, very underrated player. You look at his stats. Let's see.
He's not doing much this year, but last year was really his breakout year. And that's why he went for a 6th round pick. He kind of, I don't want to say he got taken out of the rotation, but they have so many of these guys on that Broncos roster to the point they're like, we can get anything for him. Why not? And again, he had a good year last year. Let's see. He had 4.5 sacks last year, and he really turned it on in those last few games. Again, he hasn't done a whole lot this game, but I think that's more so about playing time than his actual skill and ability. I think it was a good trade for him.
Absolutely. And then Khalil Davis to the Niners from the Texans, filling a hole in their defensive line. This is huge for the Niners. So, just making some noise in this trade deadline. I think that's pretty much it, though, for trade deadline news and weekly news as well. So let's go ahead and get into our next segment.
Just when you thought it was safe to play the underdog, we put you on Upset Alert.
So this one's fun. Ben, how many games do you have for Upset Alert?
I have 5, but I could have talked myself into 8, but we only did 5.
I have 6, so we kept it a little chill this time. All right, why don't you go ahead and name yours off, and then I'll fill in where you didn't.
I like that.
Might have all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, they very much could be the same. We're actually going to start off with Thursday's game, tomorrow's game for our live listeners. The Bengals versus the Ravens. The Ravens are like heavy favorite. They're plus 215. But as we saw in the Browns game, and it's something that I will continuously say every single time we see these teams play in a division matchup, you always have to watch out for them. And again, the Bengals, they just came off of a well-needed victory for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of start rolling with that and maybe shock the Ravens off guard a little bit here. The next one is going to be actually the London game on Sunday. And this is just punishment. The fact that, like, I don't know a single person that's like actually getting up and watching the Giants and Panthers play each other, because who would?
No.
But the Giants are favored at minus 270 because they are the better team. But these are just 2 bad teams playing overseas. Again, you kind of never know in these weird London games, especially with teams that are both fairly bad. Next one is going to be the Steelers versus the Commanders. The Commanders are favored at minus 152, so they're not huge favorites in this game. But I think Jaden has kind of cooled off a little bit from where he was at the start of the season. Still very good. He's still putting on an amazing rookie performance so far. I don't want to take that away, but he's cooled off a little bit from where he was at the start of the season. And I could see the Steelers just running the rock with Najee and continually chugging on the way they have thus point through in the season. Jets versus Cardinals. Let's see what the odds for this one was. The Jets are Jets are favored at minus 116, but the Cardinals are also minus money at minus 102. So Vegas is pretty split. The spread is actually only at 1.5. So again, this is just one of those games that could go back and forth. Let's see if the Jets finally were able to catch fire off of last week's game and kind of parlay that into a victory in today's game, no pun intended. And then just another divisional matchup. Game, again, that should not be close, especially with Cooper Rush playing quarterback. That's the Eagles versus Cowboys. And again, it's just strictly because it's the Eagles versus Cowboys and Jalen Hurts has not won in Dallas like ever. So it's just one of those like Bears things where I'm like, I can't pick the Bears to beat the Packers until they do it.
Right.
And we'll get into my pick for that game. But again, it's just one of those weird scenarios that haven't been able to win in Dallas as of recently. You just never know. So yeah, those are my 5.
You know what's crazy? You didn't name a single one of mine, with the exception of the Giants and Panthers. Just because it's minus 209. I just don't trust that line. Yeah. Bills minus 198 against the Colts. I just love Joe Flacco this season. He's done a really, really good job with his team. We mentioned it in our group chat on Sunday. Flacco makes his team watchable and borderline playoff contenders. So it's going to be exciting. Bills minus 198, not a crazy line just yet. I want to say anything over 200 in the NFL I don't like, and we'll touch on that a little bit more. Another one, minus 198, Vikings at Jaguars. The Jaguars have, really played these teams hard recently.
This is funny.
So I really don't want to count them out, but this team, man, I'm telling you, it's doing things. I don't believe in Doug Peterson, though. I think he'll get fired probably.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, too, is questionable going into this game. They signed C.J. Beathard off the Niners practice squad. He got hurt in the game against the Eagles, and they might, I expect him to play because he finished out the Eagles game, but he might not even play this game.
Patriots and Bears. Bears are favored at minus 290. That's a crap. That's a crap. So I want to win this game so bad. But at the same time, if we lose, this means, or it should mean, the end of something.
He's fired.
Oh wow!
He's
I just
fired.
Took out my mic.
He should be fired.
Listen, he should have been fired months ago, like a good 6 months ago. But it is what it is. So. But I'm just saying, don't count out the Patriots. They play teams hard as well. However, you do remember what happened last time the Bears played the Patriots. Just saying. 49ers minus 278 against the Buccaneers. Now, I do think the Buccaneers are going to come out mad that they lost the way that they did against the Chiefs. They stood a chance against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been playing borderline better football than the 49ers. And I only say that because I know the 49ers have been less than impressive compared to last year, and the Chiefs aren't much better. So, 49ers minus 278 is a crazy line. And Baker has been playing teams very well. I said to my coworker that Baker has borderline played MVP level football, at least MVP candidate level. His stats this year are crazy, man. Have you seen them? I know, look, don't stat watch, but at the same time, let's look at it. Right now he's throwing for 23, almost 2,400 yards, 23 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and he's halfway through the season. good numbers. So I'm just saying Baker Mayfield, of all people, playing really good football, I'm going to say that, hey, don't count him out either. Obviously, we'll get to my pick and everything for this game, but it's going to be a close one. Lions minus 192 against the Texans. Now, I also understand that the Texans O-line has been playing kind of weak, but I also know that CJ Stroud's kind of good at this football thing. So, Lions gonna Lions sometimes, man. Just saying. But yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our next segment here. What do you say?
Yes.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick'em.
All right. So just to kind of refresh everybody from what I had said at the beginning of the show, I went 11-4. Ben went 12-3. Ben, good job this week, man. It was good. So overall, I'm up by 5. I'm 87-49. He is 82-54. So starting off with tomorrow night's game, Bengals at Ravens. I personally have the Ravens. Who do you got?
Yes, I have the Ravens, and we are reusing the same script from last year, guys. I'm going to come back and win this. Ravens.
We'll see. Giants and Panthers. Who cares? I'm going to go Giants.
Yes, I'm going Giants.
Patriots and Bears. Ooh, I'll let you pick first.
I'm going Bears. And it was funny because I told you that I'm never picking the Bears ever again. But I'm going Bears. I hope that Flus understands how much of a hot seat he is on, and he's getting this team ready to go and play. Because again, if he does not win this game, he's fired. He's done. So I think because of that, he's fighting for his job. I think they're gonna win.
If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm switching out Matt Eberflus's name with Ben Johnson just to mess with him this week and just be like, yeah, isn't that crazy? How'd that get there? Win this week. How about that? Yeah, Bears. Niners and Buccaneers. What are you thinking?
I'm going Niners, man. The big thing with the Niners is just their inability to stay healthy. Like you said, there's a chance CMC comes back this game. They're coming off of a bye week. There's another week removed from pneumonia for Debo. They just need to get healthy. They need time. And while Baker has looked good, even without his weapons, it's just still going to be really, really hard for me to pick against this Niners team, especially coming off of a bye.
How about Cade Otton, by the way? I mean,
yeah, I don't get me started. I lost fantasy because of that in my work league, and I lost fantasy to you by a whopping 0.12 points. That's besides the point.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucs. I'm gonna take the Bucs here. I think even if CMC comes back, they're gonna put him on a snap count. It's not gonna be anything too crazy. Yeah. Kittle's been exploding lately, but I trust this Buccaneers team to kind of get them across the finish line. Broncos and Chiefs, I'll go ahead and fill this in because God knows they're not losing to the Broncos.
They've had a history of doing it, though. They've had it like, I agree, I'm picking the Chiefs to win, but I think it's easy to look at this and be like, oh, Chiefs, they're not going to lose to the Broncos. Last year, they lost to the Broncos both times. They didn't win a game against the Broncos last year, and they played them twice. So it's easy to look at this game.
To take the under.
Yeah. It's easy to look at this game and be like, oh, this Chiefs, and we're both doing it, but like, watch out. They've shown a history of somehow, almost being their kryptonite, which is weird. The Broncos is that team.
Yeah. Bills and Colts.
Bills.
Okay.
Yes, they're gonna Josh Colts. Allen is throwing up like 300 passing yards on him.
Okay. Steelers and Commanders. I have the Steelers. Who you got?
Oh, Steelers. I'm going Commanders. It's another game we disagree on, and I hope you're right. I really, really, really hope you're right. It'd be good for Eagles standing in the NFC East. But I'm going Commanders.
All right. Vikings and Jaguars. I'm picking the Vikings. I think this was
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, I'm picking the Vikings, especially with the whole, everything being all up in the air with Trevor this week.
Let's see. Falcons and Saints. I think we're both going Falcons, right?
Yeah.
All right. Titans and Chargers. This one's fun. What do you think?
Chargers. I'm riding with Jim. I am riding with Jim all the way. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't make a bigger push for T. Higgins at the trade deadline.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Caught me a little off guard, but Chargers.
Jets and Cardinals. I'm going Chargers.
I'm assuming you're going Chargers.
Yeah. Jets and Cardinals. What do you think?
I'm going with the Jets. I'm going to say I probably hurts you to hear that, but I'm going to say that they're kind of build off of what happened last week. Garrett Wilson having 2 just unbelievable catches in that game. I think they're going to build off of that win last week, and they're going to start kind of, again, parlaying this into a little bit of a run and kind of looking a little bit more like the Jets that we thought. And Hassan Reddick has been making an impact since he's come back. Jets.
I'm going to go with Cardinals. Taking the Cardinals, which I'll just keep going. Eagles at Cowboys. I'm taking the Eagles.
Yes. No, I'm taking the Eagles. Yes. If the Eagles
you better watch your mouth.
Lose this game, I'm gonna freak out. I'm going to crash out on the podcast next week if the Eagles lose.
Lions and Texans. I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah. I'm taking the Lions until the Lions prove otherwise. They are the best team in the NFC, and it's really not even particularly close. And this is coming from an Eagles fan. Lions.
Dolphins and Rams. I'm leaning Rams. What do you think?
Asma. Yep, I'm leaning Rams. Like I said, same thing I said last week on the podcast. When Stafford has his weapons around him, he's going to be good, and that's the case. Stafford showed it. Rams.
Yeah. So let me see here what we're at now. Okay, yeah. So that's it for Pigskin Pick'em this week. Best of luck to you, man. What we've got right now, we agreed on everyone but 1, 2, 3, 4 games. So odds are we go 2-2 and tie this week.
I was going to say there's a chance we're probably just going to end up being tied, and that's just how it's going to happen.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and dive into some Pigskin Payout.
They say winning isn't everything, and that may be true in some cases, but right now, let's make some money. It's time for Pigskin Payout.
All right, so Ben, I told you before the show I'm going a little easier on this, right?
Yes.
I've been going 5-6 leg parlays for the last few weeks, and it's not hitting ever. And so I want to give the people some good advice. I'm going to go ahead and start off so I can reveal mine to you. Joe Flacco, 225 plus. I'm sorry, not receiving. Good Lord. Joe Flacco, 225 plus passing yards. Jets at Cardinals over 48 total points. That one's going to be a fun one. Eagles at Cowboys over 43 total points as well. So
over
Flacco's, yes. Flacco's is minus 150. Jets and Cardinals minus 112. Eagles Cowboys minus 115. The whole parlay altogether is plus 489. $10 pays $58.98. What do you think?
I think that over might be your killer with Dak and CD. Well, Dak for sure not playing, and then CD kind of seemingly as of Wednesday as we speak, not looking to be on track to play. So I think that over might get you there a little bit. You're kind of just hoping the Eagles put in the work. We'll get to as to why I was laughing when you were doing your upset alert. First off, it's a leg that I'm going to continue to do. It's a filler. It hits pretty much every single time. Derrick Henry over 70 yards. Again, against a bad Bengals run defense. It's going to hit. I'm not worried about that one. now we're going to get into the point as to why I was laughing. You were talking about both these teams in actually them in their spreads. I'm having the Bills cover -3.5. And then I'm also having the Vikings cover 4.5. And again, these were two teams you talked about in the upset alert. And that's why I just thought it was funny. And then the last one for you guys is Josh Allen over 248. As I had mentioned, it's just a not good secondary right now for the Colts. That'll bring your odds up to +78, $10 to win $88.
All right. So let's go ahead. Good luck. Gamble responsibly. If you guys are taking any kind of bets, leave them in the comments below. We'd love to see that. Or just tag us on Twitter or something like that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into our next segment.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
All right, buddy. So I was so happy about this.
Oh, I bet you were.
I mean, I called it, but anyway, so we've got a couple new things to talk about, and I mean, obviously you've got your AP, your coaches poll, but we looked at the college football playoff rankings. I'm sure you'll dive into it, but I'm excited, man.
Yes.
OSU at 2. I mean, right behind the team that we lost to, and we shouldn't have. But hey, what are we talking about today, man?
Yeah, no, you were spot on there. We'll kind of go over the college poll here second, and we'll kind of get into everything else as we go. This is a college poll. If you are an audio listener, this is probably a good time to either look up the college football playoff rankings or just go ahead, go to YouTube, watch it there, subscribe while you're there. But here's the rankings. Here's the top 15. Really the kind of the big ones that are sticking out to me is Penn State all the way up there at 6. Their one big game that they played, they lost. I don't know what they have done to be ranked above a team like Indiana and BYU. They don't have that signature win under their belt, and they've lost against good competition. Shocker. That's going to be kind of the story of Penn State until James Franklin finds his way out. We see Texas A&M right now at 14, so they're looking out. When they put out the actual bracket, I think they said Texas A&M was actually the first team out because they'll do the conference champions and then one group of 5 team, which will be Boise State here at 12. And then after that, it's just kind of discretion, which is why Texas A&M is going to be that first team out. Because kind of in their playoff scenario, Texas A&M would get a spot over SMU, especially because they're SMU. Then we keep on scrolling down. Colorado ranked 20. Again, I really, really doubt that they're going to make the playoffs, but it's awesome to see them ranked there in the top 25. And then Clemson. This is a great transition kind of into the next topic and kind of the games that we talked about there. Clemson lost to Louisville, pretty much getting rid of any chance they had of making the CFP. It looked like after that Georgia loss, they started building up, and maybe Dabo's actually doing something, not doing the transfer portal and stuff, and then they go and lose to ranked Louisville, and again, all but taking themselves out of the college football playoffs. And then we had a whole bunch of undefeated teams kind of left. Iowa and SMU, or Iowa and Pitt being 2 of them going into the week, and both of them lost. Iowa losing to Texas Tech and Pitt losing to SMU, no longer undefeated. Don't want to say that completely gets rid of their chances of making the CFP, but it greatly, greatly hinders both of their chances. And then the last one, I talked a lot about OSU. But they were able to pull out the victory there against Penn State. Franklin is going to be Franklin. He's not going to be able to beat, top 5 teams, top 10 teams. He's going to beat up on the lower ranked teams. He's always done that. And in the big games, he's going to lose. And it's kind of what we've come to expect with James Franklin. On the OSU side, the big thing that I told you guys I was worried about was getting that run game going. And it seemed like OSU was able to do that, which is great. Let's see if they can continue to find that, because, again, they weren't able to in the 2 prior games against Nebraska and Oregon. But Quinton Judkins rushed for 95 yards, 14 carries, averaging 6.8 yards a carry. And you go to Travion Henderson, he rushed for 54 yards and 10 carries. Quick math, that's averaging 5.4 yards a carry. So that one big concern that I was telling you guys going into this game was that run game. And it seems like they've figured it out a little bit, which is good for OSU. Obviously, if you're a Michigan fan, Big Ten fan, you don't like OSU. It's not something you like to see. But if you like OSU, you're a big fan of the silver and scarlet or whatever they are, good for you, and I'm happy for you, buddy. Lord knows if OSU lost and the Bears lost, it would have been a very, very rough weekend there in your brand new apartment. So
it would not have been great.
Do you have anything on that OSU Penn State game or anything else before we kind of dig into a couple of the matchups going into this week?
No, but I do want to bring up a point, because you did, you did say this. So there is a bunch of undefeated teams going into, this week. But would you have guessed that Army would be one of them?
No, right? The service academies,
would have been one of them. IU would be in the top 10 and be one of those undefeated teams. Miami would be 9-0. Oregon, I think, is the only one that's believable. Just much fun.
Yes, again, it's a whole lot of fun. Again, those 2 of those big contenders, like I said, kind of got knocked out. Even if Army continues to win, are we really going to put Army in the college football playoffs? I sure hope not.
More than likely. Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun to root for Army and really fun to root for Navy, but even if Army goes undefeated, I still can't see the committee putting Army in the football playoffs. Right. But like you said, it's fun to see them undefeated. Awesome. A lot of fun. So good for them.
Let's go ahead and dive in, man.
Yeah, diving into kind of the 3 big games, and I'll reserve the 4th for IU. But the 3 big games kind of going into this game, pretty much heavily dominated by the SEC this week. That's Alabama going into Death Valley there at LSU. Bama ranked 11. LSU ranked 14. Like I said, I don't think either of these teams at this point have a chance, with both of them being 2 lost teams, to make the college football playoffs. But if you can win this and you can maybe miraculously pull off an SEC championship team or a championship run and title, then you find yourself here. And it's going to start at this game for both of these teams, because whoever loses this game is certified, no chance that they're making the CFP. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's always a lot of fun when these top SEC schools play against each other. Another SEC matchup, 2 ranked Georgia going to play Ole Miss at 16. Georgia, they were struggling a little bit there against Florida. That kind of seems to be the case for them. They're struggling a little bit to get things started. I have no doubt when the lights turn on and when they're the brightest, that Georgia is going to win the games when they matter. But they're struggling a little bit against these lower level teams. So I'm wondering if Ole Miss has a chance. And I love Lane Kiffin. There's a special place in my heart for Lane Kiffin and his offense. I do think Georgia wins this game, but just something to keep an eye out for in terms of an upset. And then the last one is the Holy War. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, it's BYU versus Utah. For the first time in a very long time, these 2 teams are both back in the same conference, which is really, really fun. Long historic history, rivalry between these 2 teams. BYU ranked number 9. Again, Utah, Cam Rising's out. I don't think they're going to really even have a chance against BYU. BYU kind of seems like a team of destiny right now. I forgot who it was who said this, but they're kind of looking like that TCU team a couple years ago. IU as well, obviously, but BYU is kind of looking like that team of destiny. But it's going to be really fun to see these two teams play in a very heated and kind of historical rivalry. Those are the three big ones. And then I have to, with me being an IU student and being a Michigan fan, I'd be remiss to not talk about that game. IU is playing Michigan here in Bloomington. I sold my ticket, guys. I had tickets.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I had tickets to this game. I'm a student season ticket holder. Really wanted to go to this game, of course. But it just didn't work out. I have friends coming from out of town. Tickets are going for like $150. It wasn't ever going to work out for me to get everyone to come. I'd rather hang out with my friends than go and see IU beat Michigan. So I sold it, made a pretty penny.
Party afterwards.
That's the plan, right? We're gonna watch it at one of our close friends' houses. I do think IU wins, but I think there's a chance that Michigan pulls something off. I think their defense is going to be the best defense they've seen all season. I don't know if Will Johnson is playing. Obviously, if Will Johnson isn't playing, that's going to be a huge plus for IU. If Will Johnson does play, then you have to get a little bit worried about how this passing offense is going to look. Let me see.
Who are you rooting for?
Okay. I was actually having this internal dialogue with myself as the season had started. As I was thinking about this. In any other year, in any other scenario, even if you take this same exact scenario, Michigan being as bad as they are, and IU being as good as they are, and you put it in my freshman year, you put it in my sophomore year, you put it in my junior year, I would be rooting for Michigan. I love IU, obviously. I go to IU. I'm going to root for IU. But any other year, I would pick Michigan to win. Or I'd be rooting for Michigan to win. But this being my senior year and IU kind of going on this magical run, selfishly, I'm rooting for IU because I want to party.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's a
that
good
being
reason,
said, as any other year it would have been Michigan. If we're talking about just football and you take everything out of it, I would of course root for Michigan. But it's my senior year. It's my last year here. I'm going to want to have as much fun as I can. And if that's attached to IU beating Michigan, then I'm going to do that. I have the rest of my life to root for Michigan to beat IU. I want to party this year a little bit, guys. Bear with me. I'm a college student in my senior year. But again, I think IU has a chance. I don't think that Will Johnson is going to play. I think he definitely sat out against Oregon. And one of them, our head coach, Sharon Moore, didn't say which one, but he said one of them is trending positively to play. Will Johnson and Jair Hill are their outside corner. He said one of them is positive to play, and it seems like that's going to be Jair Hill. But I think Michigan's defense might catch IU off guard a little bit, especially in that interior, because IU's kind of made most of their money having this amazing balanced attack on the run game and pass game. And I think IU might have the offensive line kind of be shocked a little bit with this interior, this Michigan D line. But I want IU to win very selfishly. That being said, it's another very, very fun week of college football. I'm looking forward to coming back. And either way, it's a win-win scenario. I'm either partying with my friends on my birthday weekend, or I can claim my maize and blue and rub it in all the IU fans' faces. So it's a win-win scenario for me. Either way, really can't go wrong.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you. It's gonna be a fun time. But
and it goes against everything in like my fiber really quickly to pick IU to win is a very conversation me and Ryan have had numerous times at this point.
That's why
it goes
I
against. It goes against every fiber in my being to pick IU to win or want IU to win, but that's besides the point. Not to cut you off, we got one more segment here.
You're good. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
It's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
When we played this game many moons ago, I was the winner of it. And guess what? While you were discussing your fandom and which side you will be picking, your boy installed an ad blocker, so we don't have to deal with anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. It looks like it did years ago, it seems like. But anyways.
Yeah.
Right now, the score is 44-27, Ben. Let's go ahead and get started. Easy mode. Where are we at?
Do you want me to pick first or do you want to pick first? You won, so you get to decide.
I'll pick first on the next one. This is easy mode.
Okay, AJ Brown.
All right. So wide receiver in the NFC, taller than 6'1", younger than 27, and his number is over 11. I'm gonna go Rome. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't hate that.
I was thinking Leggett, but the number doesn't work out for Leggett. So it has to be either in the west or in the south. Can't be Debo. Puka.
Okay.
I guess she's not on here. It's a little weird.
Weird.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with Xavier Leggett. It's not, but we'll go with Leggett.
Okay. So it's got to be an NFC West team.
So he has to be 24.
24. So what's that? Like the Fields draft, right?
Around. Probably the year after Fields.
Year after Fields. It's not. No, he's not. No.
No, it's definitely not Ayuk.
What am I thinking here?
So that's the Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, and Niners.
Okay.
No, DK's too tall and too old.
Yeah. Okay.
A shocker.
Well,
NFC West. Could have never guessed. And I feel like number 14. Like my brain goes to Michael Wilson, but I think Michael Wilson's too tall. But he wears number Michael Wilson.
How? I was gonna say. Okay. Cool. Michael Wilson.
Wow,
right.
I thought Michael Wilson was taller than that. I really thought Michael Wilson was taller than that.
Dang it. Okay. Not today.
Yeah, not today. You really, really give me a whole lot to work with here, didn't you? I appreciate it. Older or how old? That's the question. In the NFC, Grant Calcaterra. I think he's too short, but
NFC East. On the offensive side,
he's old. He's old. No,
oh, yeah,
old.
Yeah,
he's old. He's at least 28.
Yeah,
and he's shorter. Maybe not necessarily short. Definitely shorter though. NFC East. That leaves me with my Commanders and my Austin Eckler.
Okay.
Oh!
So, right? There we go, baby. Let's go.
I was deciding between Terry and Austin, and Gosh darn shame.
We did it. All right.
On a roll.
So,
don't let him get hot.
Yeah, that's 2 straight, baby. Yeah, don't let me get hot. So that makes it 44-28. Me, or not me, but Ben. But I won. Ben, any closing comments before we close this thing out?
Yeah. I obviously, we try to keep it football related, and don't want to go into any detail here, but just remember to be nice to everyone, guys. It's okay for everyone to have different opinions than you, and so on and so forth, and very, very divisive times right now, but just remember to be nice and kind and, be compassionate. And it's a lot of stuff is going on right now. Either way you go. Yep, exactly. So just remember to be nice, remember to be kind, remember to show compassion. Everyone is human at the end of the day, and just try to be nice to each other no matter what your views are on anything. Unless you're a Cowboys fan or Packers fan.
Love.
So,
peace and love.
Yeah, peace and love. Yeah. Unless you're a Cowboys and Packers fan. If you know someone that's a Cowboys and Packers fan, kick rocks.
Hey, Lions fans are getting there. I'm not even gonna lie. Lions fans are starting to tick me off too. Like they've accomplished anything.
They were so bad. They were so bad for so long. And they get any taste of winning and they become obnoxious. But I can't even say that because I know if the Bears do that, you'd be doing the same exact thing.
Hey, but we've got a Super Bowl. It was just very long ago.
Very long time ago.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, we want to thank Spotify for Podcasters, Uppercuts Grooming, and Regional Radio Sports Network for helping us grow as a podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have any recommendations, any comments, or any bets that you're taking this week, shoot us a DM, a comment, or just add us on Twitter.
Yes.
We'd love to see it. Thank you guys for the support. We'll see you guys next week.